What's going on, boys and girls? Welcome back to another Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth video. Alright guys, we're gonna be doing this a little different. Normally I was gonna be live streaming the whole game, but unfortunately, as I put out in my community post, the copyrights are left and right insane, and I do not want to diminish the experience I'm having in this game for you and for myself by not having music available. But with that being said, I do want to talk about my completion of the grasslands and some tips and tricks if you guys are starting this off on what you want to avoid and things you definitely want to do. There are a lot of things in this game, and I want to start off from the beginning. So when you first play this game, you're going to have an incredibly insane cutscene with another character. I'm not going to spoil it. You guys should just experience it. But when you actually start going back to the main characters here, there's a couple things you want to do. So first off, you're going to go ahead and see this world map. Okay, there's going to be the grasslands, which is the first region you're going to visit. You guys can see here I've completed most of the grasslands except for these little exclamation mark here, which are the side quests. Now, this was a mistake on my part. This is a mistake you want to avoid. Now, I'm in the Junon region. If I want to go back to the grasslands, I must go back through another area, and now I can no longer quickly teleport. So make sure before you leave here, you complete everything you want to complete. I missed one intel gathering thing, which is right there, and I regret it now because now I have to go back later on and get this. Now, I might even go back and just go right. I might take the long trip there and get it done. So couple things I want to talk about. When you finish the whole comm scene, you're going to go into Chocobo Bill's section. Now, when you get to Chocobo Bill's stop, right here, he's going to be located right there. Don't go exploring the world, okay? First thing you want to do when you jump onto this game is actually meet up with your boy Chadley. That's right, the cyborg is back and he has a lot to say and a lot to open up. Now, when you speak to Chadley, you're going to actually unlock one of these towers, which is considered your world intel. When the world intel is unlocked, the rest of the map now becomes a little bit more explorable, and these are the objectives you're going to want to do on these maps. So the first thing I want to tell you guys is do not go exploring all ham until you actually talk to Chadley, because then your intel gathering on the map will begin, and that's where majority of your gameplay is going to happen in these sections. So the world intel is broken up into a couple different regions, okay? It's called regional data, and it's pretty much comprised of this world intel. It's comprised of these expedition intels. It's comprised of these fiend intels and a couple other ones like this right here, which is a phenomenal intel, which is a long quest, and then divine intel. Okay, so there's going to be various different kinds here of intels around the world, including Moogle intels. So you're going to want to explore this. Along the way, you're going to want to pick up every single one of these chocobo stops so you can fast travel within this map. This is critical. You're going to get a chocobo. The chocobo is a lot faster than walking, obviously, but you're going to want this fast speed, especially when you're in a bind and you're really low on health. Going back to one of these chocobo stops to replenish your health using a cushion is going to be actually critical. So first thing, guys, unlock Chadley, get your chocobo, and then start exploring. All right. Number two. Along the way, when you're exploring, you're going to come upon these areas here that you see that are marked with these treasure chests. These are areas of interest, which will actually tell you how many treasure chests are currently hidden in this area. Make sure you're exploring this and actually unlocking all of these. You guys can get yourself a lot of good items, a lot of gear, as well as a lot of crafting material. Speaking of gear, when you are in comm, you're going to see one of Cloud's first swords. It's right here on my back. It's called the Sleek Sword. Do not buy it. Okay, do not purchase this. The reason why you don't want to purchase, I'm going to go back to my map here real quick and show you guys, is that you can get this item for free, as well as other weapons that you can purchase for your other, you can gather for your other characters when you're in the swampland. So when you go to this abandoned dock, there's going to be a purple chest. This will actually unlock the Sleek Sword, which will normally cost you 3,000 gil. And let me tell you, early on, gil is one of the most crippling factors in this game, so make sure you do not purchase that with the gil you have. You just come back to this abandoned dock, which you'll do very early on actually, and get yourself the Sleek Sword. Now, with that being said, guys, brand new weapons will unlock for your characters. One thing I want to stress, and this is very important, guys. A lot of people are going to ask, well, Payne, what do we do? What's the best setup for characters? Aerith is going to be your best magic defensive, offensive damage dealer. Tifa is going to be incredible for pressure and staggering, specifically for staggering. And then Barret is good for long range, of course. And Red 13 is a good mixed bag of everything. So how do you use the characters you want, and what team should you use? Essentially, the way I'm using it right now is whenever I get a brand new weapon, guys, and this is very important, especially for weapons, you want to make sure that you unlock every weapon's abilities. Now, if you take a quick look here, I have Firebolt Blade, which is the ability for Sleek Saber. It's completely maxed out and learned. So this one is going to now be completed. I can now comfortably take Cloud out and then put in a brand new character. So for example, Timeless Rod for Aerith, the Chrono Aegis, I definitely want to learn that. So this is the character I'm going to use next to make sure I learn this move. If I go over to Tifa, I just got a brand new weapon for her. She's got reverse scale. You guys can see here, the bar is filling up. So the moment you learn that, you can switch out your characters and learn new skills, right? There's Crescent Claw for Renegade's Collar. Then here I've got bonus round for High Caliber Rifle. It's extremely important, guys, that you jump in and you switch out your characters and try to learn every weapon skill you can, because these weapon skills are going to be a massive boost to your abilities and to your potential to dish out damage. So that is something that's extremely, extremely important. Now, talking about skills and stuff, combat system. There's a brand new system now called the Synergy Skills and Abilities, right? And they're going to be essential part of this game. You need to, and I'm going to make this absolutely clear, need to learn those within the folios that you have. Those are going to be major parts of the game, and they're going to help you boost through damage, and they're going to be an essential part of number one, survivability, damage dealing, and offensive defensive buffing. So your synergy skills are a big part of this game. Now, another part that I want to make sure that you guys understand is the actual affinity portion of the game. There's an affinity section in this game now. If you hold L1 on your button, you can see your affinity with characters. Now, I've been using Tifa and Aerith quite a bit, so you can see their icons look a little different than Red 13 and Barrett. So the more you use characters in your party, the more you interact with them, the more you do side quests for them, the better these affinities will be. And these are important because they'll unlock special quests and items you can collect through affinity usage. Okay, so that's a very important part too. So make sure, guys, you are doing those side quests, and those affinities are going to matter later on, especially for things like dating, etc., having different conversation with characters, etc., etc., etc. Okay, now another thing I want to talk about is the map. When you unlock this, the intel portion of the world, you're going to have this map here, obviously, that gives you, number one, the map itself of the world, but number two, it also gives you different things, such as quests that you currently have going on, the story up to date in regards to where you are, and you guys can see even further back if you need to know where you, like, what you've done and what the story is up to this point. And then you can also see here the intel of various different things that you've unlocked. So very important, guys. And then Chadley. Now, speaking of Chadley, okay, before you go on a spree and start buying everything material-wise, weapon-wise, accessory-wise, go ahead and do the combat that Chadley allows you to do, and make sure you take advantage of the drops that happen in Chadley's combat simulator. There are a lot of different things. Now, when you first start off, you're going to see Titan. Make sure you avoid fighting Titan at full might. You're not going to be ready for it. So you're going to want to make sure you explore the divine intel and further weaken him, and then fight him. But not only that, the combat simulators train you how to use your characters, how mobs work, how different combat systems work, and at the same time, when you finish the combat, you're going to get yourself a lot of cool things, such as healing materia level 2, some fire materia, some lightning materia, accessories, etc. So make sure, guys, the combat simulator, as you unlock them, you do complete them. So that's going to be a very big part of the game that you're going to have to take advantage of, again, because Gil is so scarce. Okay, you can also, another big thing when you're doing mini games, because there are a lot of mini games, guys, you guys can press the pause button at any time and restart your mini game. You don't have to complete it, waste your time knowing you're going to fail, or if you're not going to do well on something. So make sure, guys, you are in fact doing that whenever it's available to you. Okay, another thing, whenever you get to a new region, go to a chocobo stop instantly and make sure that you are activating your chocobo stop ASAP. Okay, that's going to help you summon your chocobo with your chocobo whistle, and then you guys can use that right away. All right, so that's going to be a really big one as well. That's going to help you travel through and see and get to these sensory towers and intel towers a lot quicker, and then that's going to help you guys explore the world faster and then move on to the storyline. Right now, speaking of exploration, a lot of you guys may want to go on and move with the storyline. I highly suggest you don't. The one big thing in exploration you want to make sure you do before you become too overpowered to move on too quickly is the Fiend intel. They do not level up their character. They do not level up along with you. So if you go into the Fiend intel, there's going to be certain requirements like stagger someone or pressure somebody or beat these opponents by this time, etc., etc. There's different requirements for Fiend intel. If you become too overpowered, it's going to be a lot harder to do things like pressure, because you're going to be killing the fiends way before you even have a chance to do that. So make sure, guys, you are in fact doing at the very least the Fiend intel and getting those done with the proper levels, and then moving on from there. All right, so those are the early quick tips I'm going to give you guys. a couple things I do want to also say. This game has been absolutely incredible. The storyline, from graphics to combat, everything is crazy good. Make sure you are assessing everything as well. Every mob should be assessed, so that should be there for you at all times, because you want to know, number one, what the enemy weaknesses are, what their strengths are, and also you're giving Chadley some extra things. And at the same time, it's going to unlock more combat for you to do, which means more items in your pocket. And again, with materia, guys, there's brand new materia in this game, so play around with it, experiment. But those are some of the big things I'd recommend. Make sure you're not buying any weapons. There are plenty of them that will drop in the game for you for free. Save your gil. Make sure you're exploring everything. Try to enjoy the game for what it is. Play however you want to play, but at the end of the biggest ones on the map, in my opinion, that's going to matter, especially when you're jumping into the game early on, and if you're trying to overpower yourself, get the Fiend intel done before you level up too much, because then you're going to have a hard time completing it later on. Alright guys, this is Payne. Just a quick tips and tricks there for you. We'll be doing more coverage on this game as we go on. I'm now currently on Junon, hopefully going to finish that up, and then maybe eventually I'll be able to make some videos on the actual fights themselves without being copyright stricken. Alright guys, I'll talk to you in the next one. Take care.